Guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today is another day story time with your favorite uncle. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you 5 financial mistakes that I've made in the last 10 years that I will not be making again in the next 10. Number 1 is to max out my credit cards. Jesus Christ. Hey, let's take a moment of silence. All right. This is a mistake that I'll never repeat again. When you max out your credit cards, it's often difficult to get them paid off. So for example, I don't know what type of balance you have. I used to have a $1,000 credit card when I was in university. And what I ended up doing, because I needed to get some equipment, I used up my credit cards and it rose up to $1,000. What happened afterwards was, you're trying to pay it off. It's different from paying off $100, $1,000. And I wasn't making a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of cash to use. So what would happen is I would have to pay off my rent, and yeah, I just couldn't pay it off. And the harshest part about it is when you're paying 25% on a credit card, right? At the end of the month, when that bill comes, it's like, oh, the first time it's like, yeah, you just owe us $40. And then the second month it's you owe us $80, you owe us $100. Before you know it, you can't even afford the minimum payment that you have to do. And then I started getting these phone calls from the bank. Hey, we need you to pay off your credit card. We need you to get that credit card below the limit. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. We will report this to a credit bureau. I started watching my credit utilization rise up. So this affected my credit score. And I started watching it just go down and down and down. And it was it was a difficult time period, because the thing that happens a lot of times is when you're pursuing other goals. So for example, building a YouTube channel, it's every time that I get money, I have to decide between paying off my credit card or buying equipment that helps me improve my video, so that eventually I can start making money from this and then pay off the credit card. So having to make those decisions, it's quite difficult. And sometimes when you pay off the credit card and then you need something, you need a better microphone, you need a better camera, you're like, damn, should I max this out again? But for me, now my credit card that they're paid off, I will not be maxing them out ever again, because the stress that comes with that, when those bankers start calling you, it's not fun. Financial mistake number 2 is I spend money that I did not have. Yes, you heard that correctly. This mistake happens when you work a job. So for example, I worked in acting in the film industry. The way it works is you work on Monday. So you work on the 1st. You're likely going to get paid after 2 or 3 weeks. You don't really know when this money will come. Sometimes you are booked in advance. Sometimes they'll book you, say today is the 1st, and then they'll book you to come to work from the 15th to the 20th. And then so what I used to do is I started making plans. I started making plans for that money before I even done the job. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll work at this period of time. I'll have the money within 3 weeks and pay off this thing. So what I'll do is I'll dip into, so let's say I have my monthly rentals, right? I'll dip into my rent for the next month, being like, oh yeah, I'll have that money when it's time to pay it, because I would have done that job. And then what will happen, which happens a lot of times in the filming industry, is those jobs get canceled or you get dropped and they choose someone else, and then you don't make that money. Now you've used rent from the following month and you're like, oh my God, what should I do here? So this was a massive lesson for me. Like, eat what you kill. Until that money is in my bank account, like, I do have plans of things that I need to purchase if there's a need to purchase something. But what I don't do is plan on money that I don't have, because that's just not good enough. Like that just sets you up for failure. So yeah. And then financial mistake number 3 was, for me, Amazon Prime. Listen, Jeff Bezos and this company have reached $2 trillion. I'm pretty sure how much I've spent on Amazon is just a drop in an ocean. But that drop for me is a whole river. That's a whole swimming pool. That's a whole embankment of money. I've probably spent in the past 10 years more than 10, 20,000 onto Amazon on things that I don't even need. Most of the things that I bought on Amazon from 3 years ago, I don't even have, but I spend it and I keep spending. Amazon Prime is a convenient little thing, but it just takes a lot of money from us. It takes a lot of money from me. If I had saved up those dollars, I'd probably be able to get the things that I have that I actually did need. But the thing with Amazon also is it allows you to start, especially when you're a content creator. It allows you to buy your camera, your tripod. You don't have to wait 2-3 weeks to be able to get that thing. You just go online. Next thing you know, tomorrow you're already shooting your videos, you're going live. So yeah, my fourth financial mistake was Netflix and subscription services. So for me, because I'm a single dude who lives by himself, who works a lot, I hardly watch Netflix. I watch one movie a month or not, and I'm paying almost $20 a month for Netflix. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? And all the other subscription services that I have, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify. I used to have YouTube Premium. You know, they got me. You know, YouTube. Once you go YouTube Premium, it's very hard to go back. They used to have me on YouTube Premium, the gym subscription. All these subscriptions, they add up to a point whereby you reflect. You're like, oh, because what I used to do and tell myself was, oh, my monthly bills is my rent plus so it's basically my rent plus my car insurance. I thought that's all I pay. Little did I know there was a $200 bill coming out every month from these subscription services. So yeah, it was a lesson learned. I've cut down. I've really cut down, like, to the bare minimums. Like, I think now I mainly just pay for Spotify, Amazon Prime, and Netflix. I've canceled a lot of other things. And then the fifth and biggest mistake that I made, or maybe it was not really, you decide, was to withdraw my investments. So in order to start this YouTube channel and my other channels, I withdrew every penny that I had in my investments in order to start a side business, a side hustle, creating content. I will not only create content for myself, I create content for other people as well. Whilst this was the great move, what that did is it took me out of the pool of compounding. It took me out of the pool for the compound interest so that I have to restart again and hopefully have a long time. Hopefully I have a couple of more years left in order to enjoy that compound interest that I needed. So for me, I feel like this was a big mistake, because had I left my money in there, it would be just growing right now. I know we're going through a recession and stuff like that, but you have to hold for the long term. And so I sometimes feel bad. I'm like, well, I really didn't lose money because I just took it straight from my investment and invested it into equipment that I use to create revenue. So it's a win-win kind of thing, but I sometimes feel bad because I'm like, had I left my money in there, maybe the compound interest thing. And yeah, no, I'm not one of those people who invested in crypto because I never truly understood how it worked. So thank God. With that said, yes, I share with you guys some of the financial mistakes that I've made. Hopefully you learn something from them. Let me know in the comment section what are your financial mistakes that you've made in the past 10 years that you will not be repeating, that you want some people to learn from. Hope you found some value in this video. If you're someone who just started out and need help with creating income online, I made a video for the only camera that you need in order to be a content creator on YouTube and any other platform. You can see it over here. If you're somebody who's deciding to pursue your goals in order to build wealth and mitigate all these financial mistakes, I made a video over here of how I decided to go back to school and enhance my skills so that I can make more wealth. With that said, I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.